I do want to pivot a little bit because, look, it is our year-end drive. It's ACLJ work. Our legal work is front and center right now. And you may have been saying, you've been teasing this. You know that this case, this is that Calvary Chapel in California has been really walloped with over $1 million in fines from the state of California, all dating back to COVID protocol issues back in 2020, 2021. And they are still out there in court trying to collect this money. And like I said, what is $1 million for the state of California? Absolutely nothing. What is $1 million for one of these churches? Potentially life and death for their church. They are still out there, even though we know how time has changed. We know what things have moved forward. And we're not going to stop because they have asked us for help. And guess what? When you're an ACLJ client, we don't get $1 from that. That is all, because people like you support the work of the ACLJ. They're not charged for our work, which is fantastic. We're able to offer these services to churches, to Christian groups, to school groups, to individuals, at no cost to them because people like you give. But they get ramped up, and the state of California is not backing down, and here we are.
And they were, they got caught, California, because what they did was they provided all these exceptions for secular businesses. Mm-hmm. Churches don't pay property tax. Churches are nonprofits. So they kept these restrictions on churches where people needed the most. They needed some community. And it would let people, again, make up their own mind if they felt comfortable being in that kind of setting. But they totally exempted out professional athletics, restaurants, and retail. Right. So being just as close to people that you don't even know, why? Because they pay tax revenue. And so because of that, those companies were accepted out. So that's the first question alone. Can you actually ban nonprofit services while exempting for-profit services if we face any kind of issues like this in the future too?
Yeah, so when people ask that question of, well, what's this case? Because if it was the protocols, let's say they did or did not break the protocols, whatever it may be, if that's what they're showing over. But that's really not the heartbeat of the case. The case, you said, is that churches could be subject to scrutiny that other organizations, other companies were totally exempted from.
Totally. I mean, you couldn't go to a church, but you could go sit down in a restaurant next to a table. And remember, even Gavin Newsom wasn't following the masking requirements of those. I mean, so listen, he is the leading candidate for the Democrats right now. I mean, that can change a lot to be their presidential nominee.
Yeah.
He's traveling the country, even into the Southeast. He's trying to reach out to populists as well to kind of be the non-Mandami. But in the fact, he's very close to that.
Yeah, let's not just forget how slick he is. And I think that is something I know Rick will probably disagree with me later on. He'll talk about how there's no way everyone will see through it.
The smile. If everybody saw through it, he wouldn't be elected so easily.
Right, exactly.
He wouldn't be the number one choice right now among Democrats.
Maybe you're from not California and you may look at him and go, well, yeah, that's a Harvey Dent looking dude. But that is not true for a lot of people.
Well, and I think what we should show people right now is what we are doing, what we have done today. Put it up on the screen. Here is our petition to the Supreme Court. It is Calvary Chapel, San Jose, and Mike McClure versus the people of the state of California, County of Santa Clara, and then also the official capacity of the health officer for Santa Clara County. That is our petition to the Supreme Court filed today, Jordan.
Yeah, People's Republic of California.
This is not an amicus. We represent Calvary Chapel. We represent the church. We are asking the Supreme Court to take this case, not just to correct this, right? Not just to correct the wrong done to Calvary Chapel, but for the future as well. We saw how the government can overreach, not just at the federal level, state and local level. And if with these exemptions, there's many issues at stake here for our freedoms, not just religious liberty, but our freedoms in general. And the ACLJ is taking that to the U.S. Supreme Court and asking the court to make it clear to our leaders around the country, federal, state, and local, that if in this kind of situation, this should not be allowed. This should be prohibited. That if somehow you're going to shut down everything, you can't exempt out your tax-paying businesses, but close down churches. And Lord knows, closing down those churches was the worst thing you could have done because of all the mental health impacts we've seen still to this day of those COVID shutdowns.
And I want you to understand, we are live, and this happened this morning.
They shut down schools, Logan, so kids had nowhere to go. Their parent, but
schools got shut down for a very long time in California.
But they can still go out to eat.
Yeah, but this was just this morning. We filed this.
Yeah. And I want to add this to this, Logan, as you go, because we've been talking about this for a few weeks. We told people about this, that this was coming. And it's like, well, I mean, you told us about it. Why is it just now happening? with the appendices, 184-page brief that was just filed to the Supreme Court, the cert petition, right, not brief, cert petition, asking them to take this case. So 184 pages with all the appendices and things involved. That's a lot of work from our attorneys that have been going.
And let me tell you something else for our attorneys who've been working this through all of the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's another one coming. We're not going to talk about that one yet until it's finalized. That is a cert petition that is, again, an ACLJ case, and an amicus that's going to be filed very soon that we were working on until I got on the show just now that will be filed. So, I mean, this is all going on between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Our team works around the clock. I was on the phone with them last night at 10 o'clock at night and back on the phone with them at 8 a.m. on a case, because when you're talking about our rights before the United States Supreme Court, I try to apologize to members of our team. They said, you know what? This is what we signed up for at the ACLJ, to work for the ACLJ. We're happy to work like this. Make sure that our team continues to be able to work like this, because we can only continue to take these cases on if we've got the resources. And like I always say, Logan, I never want to have to say no. Yeah, and so far I haven't had to. We never want to have to say no. A case is going to be too big. The senators we're talking to right now about filing because of that cause of action, these are major issues at play
that are all happening right now, a week before Christmas. So be a part of that team right now. Go to aclj.org, have your donations doubled.